Hello, 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 good people, and welcome back to Happy, Healthy, Whole with Sharea. And this week's Wednesday Wisdom is about mindset shift, the CEO mindset that everyone talks about, but really looking at it from clinician to business owner is going to be helpful. We have built a strong foundation, which we talked about the first week. We've defined our niche and our why, and created a sustainable plan. So we talked about systems, multiple in pricing, and multiple streams of income. We talked about the things that you would need to do your best in terms of getting stronger. But many therapists struggle with these transitions, which is to be able to train your mind from into running a business strategically, confidently, and with boundaries. And so I hope that I can give you some quick tips on how do we do this and what can we do to actually shift from clinician to business owner in a way that still allows us to be our best version of the therapist or clinician that we wish to be. So the first thing is overcoming the scarcity mindset. You've heard me talk about this. It is very common in most businesses, but specifically when it comes to mental health professionals, it is common to fear charging your worth and turning clients away or marketing yourself, right? All three of them can be so scary because you think from a scarcity perspective, which actually thinks that you are stuck, there's not enough, and that somehow I'm overcharging. You think from a place that is looking at the negative versus the positive around that there is more. Instead, what we try to embrace really is abundance, which is more about knowing that you're enough and knowing that there's enough clients who need to be serviced. And in the times that we are in right now, we know that is true. The next thing is understanding your value when it comes to your mindset. You are not just trading time for money. You're trading it for what hopefully is transforming lives, impacting communities. You really have to look at the value of what you're doing so that you can see the impact in how you're turning clients into their best selves and their best communities. Think about it from that abundance and value. And then the last thing you want to think about when you're shifting or need to embrace really is worth. You deserve financial stability. Just like every other profession, we deserve to be able to take care of ourselves, our families, and our eventual legacy that we wish to leave behind. We have to be able to do this by being able to acknowledge that what we are creating is larger than just a one-on-one session. It's about those entire things, servicing our clients well, impacting our families and taking care of our families to come. And those things being so important in how we shift our mind. Your business will grow when you start to believe in its value. That's not just a little bit of a myth, it's a truth that you need to live by because you grow when your mindset around it grows. The next thing is setting boundaries and avoiding burnout. As a mental health professional, we've been taught to kind of overgive, but that's fast track to burnout. And to set clear boundaries is going to benefit you from the jump. And there's three types of boundaries that I like to think about when it comes to mental health professionals who are starting or scaling their practice. The first is financial boundaries. Charge your full rate. Enforce your late fees or cancellation policy. When you don't do these things, you are also allowing for gaps in your ability to take care of your household, which ultimately leads to having to have more clients, that ultimately leads to burnout, where you're actually seeing too many people, where you can actually maintain your own well-being. So that's our financial boundaries that we need to think about from the beginning. Now, if you've already started and you feel like, oh, I need to readjust, here's that chance. Go charge your full rate and charge your late fees. It is very costly for you not to take care of your practice in this very beginning stage, in all stages. There will be a time maybe where you can do what they call it, sliding scales, or you can do more of affordable price for individuals who have this kind of demographic. That time will come, but please, I caution you to not do that as how you practice consistently across the board. The next thing is time boundaries. Work hours matter. Stick to them. My work hours now are 9 to 5. At 5 o'clock, I'm off. I need to be off for the purpose of being home and present, but also just to take care of myself and to get back to routines that include my food wellness. Now, in the earlier parts of my practice, it was 8 o'clock, hard stop. It was 9 o'clock in some earlier years, but I realized quickly that although I wanted to be able to work till 9. It just wasn't realistic for my lifestyle and my care for myself. I like dance classes. I like being home with my husband in ways that allow me to be present and not doing something. And so really I had to adjust even my time boundaries around what is my work hours and my life. The next thing when it comes to time boundaries is take vacations, take breaks. You are human, and the same things that we set our clients up for with success, you need to set yourself up with. You do not need to work 8 hours with no break to be considered a good therapist. You need to be able to take your breaks as well as understand the importance of taking healthy breaks. Get up from your desk, walk away from the screen, do some yoga stretches, do some breathing. You are telling your clients to do this while you yourself are not doing it. I can't preach or lecture enough on the importance of time boundaries and being whole so that you can actually even be a good therapist to your client. The last part is emotional boundaries. Separate your worth from your business performance. There are going to be times in your actual business where it fluctuates. You have really good seasons, and then you have some seasons where it's not so good. That's why those sustainable things that we talked about last week around pricing, saving, all those things that you need to do to make sure you are sustaining your business financially are important. Because when we see ourselves as failures because we didn't have a good year or we had to pay too many taxes because we maybe didn't plan accordingly, what we start to do is think that this business isn't for me. This sustaining a business doesn't work for me. I'm overworking myself. And the reality is, sustainable businesses are requiring you to build balance, not overwork. Plain and simple, right? And then stepping into leadership, understanding that as a clinician, sometimes you think that you are just a therapist. You are so much more than a therapist when you are running a business and or even leading your life. You are a leader. You are a practice that will leave legacy. Lead with confidence. Make data-driven decisions. If something doesn't make sense, cut it. If financially it's costing you more than it's actually giving you, it may not be a service worth providing. I remember the first time I had to decide to give up a support group I loved. It was 1 to 2 people coming, and it was not sustaining my business. And so, although I love the topic, and I won't rehash what it is, although I love the topic, I realized that the data did not support with how much I was costing with time to be able to sustain within my business. And don't be afraid to invest in support when needed. At some stage, even in our solo practice, we need to have systems, but also we need to outsource when it's beyond our expertise. Your challenge this week is to identify one mindset block holding you back and take one action step to shift it. Next week, we're going to wrap up with marketing and attracting the ideal client. I hope everyone takes good care of themselves. Be well.